Imagine you had no muscles. Yeah, that wouldn't be so nice, would it? You wouldn't be able to deal with anything and, more importantly, wouldn't even exist since muscles play such vital roles in the human body. The heart is also a muscle, and you need muscle strength to breathe as well. Altogether, there are 656 muscles. For a man, that is between 37 and 57% of his body mass. And for a woman, between 27 and 43% of her body mass. Which is quite a lot. You will soon understand what muscles really are, what different kinds there are, and what happens inside of them. Let's start with a classification of muscles. First of all, there are two different types of muscles: smooth muscles and striated muscles. The name refers to their different types of muscle structure. A smooth muscle has no sarcomeres, and its muscle fibers are way shorter than those of a striated muscle. The striated muscle looks striated when examined under a microscope due to its sarcomeres. Don't panic if you have no idea what a sarcomere is. We will get to that later. This type of muscle tissue can mainly be found in our skeletal muscles. Let's start with smooth muscles. Those are the ones surrounding most of our organs and are unconsciously controlled by the vegetative nerve system. For example, the gastrointestinal or the vascular muscles. The big exception is the heart. Although it beats unconsciously, it is a type of striated muscle. In the smooth muscle tissue, there are filaments that cause contractions and that are scattered all over the muscle cells. They are attached to structures called dense bodies. The muscle cells are spindle-shaped and only have one cell nucleus. When you talk about muscles, one mostly thinks of skeletal muscles, or only those that can be controlled voluntarily and that are attached to the bones or move the skeleton. One can differentiate between red and white muscles. The red muscles are redder due to the myoglobin, a molecule that can transport oxygen through the cell. It is similar to the hemoglobin of red blood cells. Therefore, those muscles have a lot of oxygen available. Their energy production is rather aerobic, and they are responsible for endurance movements. The white muscles do not have that much oxygen available since they hardly contain any myoglobin. They produce most of their energy during anaerobic process. Their energy sources are available at all times but are also depleted within the shortest period of time. That is why they are more suited to performing quick, short movements. Try to memorize it like this. Endurance athletes have more red muscle fibers, whereas sprinters or strength athletes have more white muscles. The basic equipment of white and red muscle tissue is mostly genetically predefined. In striated muscles, the contracting filaments are neatly bundled up and distributed evenly and at lengthways all over the big cell. Multiple cells fuse into long muscle fibers. Therefore, there are multiple cell nuclei. Here, muscle fiber equals multi-cell. Let's start with the smallest unit of muscle, the so-called sarcomere. Multiple sarcomeres are arranged behind one another and build up the myofibril, with multiple myofibrils filling out a muscle fiber. The muscle fibers are arranged parallel to each other in the muscle fascicle, which is surrounded by a very thin skin called the fascia. This is how they can move around each other slightly. The parallel muscle fascicles add up to a muscle. The muscle is surrounded by a layer of connected tissue that is attached to the fasciae. The fasciae and the connective tissue merge into the tendons, which are attached to the bone. So that's not all of it yet, because now we are going to take a closer look at the myofibrils in order to fully understand muscle contraction later on. Myofibrils consists of multiple sarcomeres. A sarcomere is about 2 to 5 micrometers long and borders on the so-called Z discs, at the front and the back. Remember, Z as in partition zone. They are also responsible for the striated structure. Actin filaments are anchored on these partitions on the opposite side of each other. These are the F-actin molecules, which means that they consist of filamentous double helices and are wrapped around each other. Helices is the plural of helix, for those wondering what exactly I am going on about. They do not collide. Instead, there is a big gap between the ends of the opposite molecules. There are little myosin filaments in between. Those are also arranged in a parallel order and bridge the gap, but also overlap with the actin filaments on the right and left side. They do not completely slip out of position because their ends hang on to the partitions, but they're very flexible. Like spiral springs, they consist of many intertwined myosin dimers and look like this. The head of the myosin molecules stick out both ways. They stick out on the left, facing left, and stick out on the right side, facing right. To understand the meaning of all of this, check out the next video about muscle contractions. So, the first thing to remember, there are smooth and there are striated muscles. The smooth muscles can be found close to the organs and are controlled non-voluntarily. Those are mostly short muscles. The striated muscles can be controlled voluntarily, except for the heart. That would be the skeletal muscles. Here, one can differentiate between white and red muscles. The red muscles have lots of myoglobin and work aerobically with endurance movements, whereas the white muscles contain little myoglobin and work anaerobically with quick and reflexive movements. The structure of the striated muscles look like this. First, there are the sarcomeres, which make up the myofibrils. Multiple myofibrils get together to form the muscle fibers, and those will form muscle fascioles. The muscle consists of multiple muscle fascioles. We will take a more detailed look at those processes and sarcomeres, but not now. Otherwise, your head will explode because of all of this information. And then your muscles are useless as well. With that in mind, have an awesome day and take care.